and really last 7 years, and I'm used to it, supporting, being a member of the Houston chapter. But I can say the rest of the questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, David Allen. And Sharika Fontenot. Is Sharika Fontenot. Okay, so just a little quick housekeeping tip. So we will just have this is a very free fall, open forum where we will have questions. You can put your questions in the chat. I devices that they are on in order for everyone to hear everyone clearly. We will ask, so 2 minutes. If there's a rebuttal, you're more than welcome, but we are asking you to be mindful. This forum is, if there's any questions that you may have, again, you can put those in the chat. I am not checking the email, so if there's any more questions that were sent via email, I'll try to check those as people are responding, but I do have those, and I think all of the emails that did come through, I did respond to everyone saying thank you. I do receive you. So we can get started. And so the first question is from the B Apple user. And this is a question to all the candidates. And I'm just.
Hi, Tamara. Sorry to interrupt. Can you hit recording,
Yes.
please?
Okay, let me try it now. Thank you, Yvonne.
Recording in progress.
Excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was Yvonne Lewis. Thank you, Yvonne. Okay, so Yvonne, are you staying on this call or you're going to be in the forum for the next session, 29?
No, I've been advised I can't stay on this. My meeting was postponed, so I can do this. So I will be on the call. And I just text you to go ahead and make me co-host.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect timing. So we'll just give you a moment to introduce yourself before we start off with the first question.
Oh, hi, I'm Yvonne Lewis. I am running for treasurer for the next fiscal year. I'm currently your treasurer for this fiscal year that ends August 31st.
All righty. So thank you for that, Yvonne. So our first question, again, this first question is for all of the candidates. So again, please be mindful. I see Naima Townsend on the call. Naima, can you be my timekeeper?
I got you. Okay.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And will be the timekeeper. So we will start in no particular order. We'll start with on this particular question. We'll start with David Allen, then we'll go to Pamela, Alicia, Yvonne, then Erica. And so to all the candidates, please give specific instructions how you will increase alumni membership and how will you increase funds to the National Alumni Association. David Allen, you're first.
Activity does a lot, and I'll say that by way of example. I passed a few chapters on my way to the Houston chapter, driving over 50 miles. Because of the activities, the Houston chapter impressed me with a lot of what I was used to. Getting things done, taking care of business, having fun, and raising money while we. So the activity to me has a lot to do with it. The financial component, again, we derived it from activity. We raised $100,000 in 4 years during my 2 terms as president in Los Angeles. And it was primarily through activity and supporting the kids. The goal was actually 200,000. The scholarship endowment at the university is now over 200,000. So those type of things, and we picked up on the model that the NAA has with the Future Education Endowment, And back in the time we were the first chapter, now I know there's several chapters, endowments, and several individuals. I think is wonderful. But those are the type of things, in terms of looking to see, having things, and we always did things and we raised money from everything we did, even having something in somebody's backyard, we charge and people pay, raise money. Again, when you're doing it on behalf of the students, people will pay. They won't write a check to you or me, and I don't blame them, but they will write a check to the students out front. Back to you, man.
Thank you, David Allen. Pamela, would you like to respond?
Yes, as far as increasing alumni membership, I feel that if we have a presence at the graduation ceremonies at PV, we can get students then, or graduates, and get them to join. I think a lot of the graduates, once they graduate, they have either no knowledge of the National Alumni Association, or no one has approached them. So that's one way for us to gain more members, also more visibility. As far as increasing funds, again, when you get these new members in, right there, you're increasing funds. Not, and we also need to have fundraisers. If it's every chapter, have a fundraiser, and a portion of the money is to give back to the Alumni Association, I feel that would, be a start. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Alicia?
Yes, so the first question regarding how to increase membership. Certainly, as my peers have stated previously, certainly increasing recruitment and also attracting those newly graduates, when I participated weekend, inside of the degree cover, that was a letter from the National Alumni Association welcoming me into the association, as well as before the ceremony, we were given alumni pins. So being able to provide some type of gift to welcome in new graduates into the National Alumni Association is certainly showing a degree of welcoming, inviting, and they're the first step for them to become members, and thereby increasing our membership with our new graduates. When things are going wrong, but to show a positive reputation, a positive outlook for the current alumni membership, so that we can attract other alumni graduation. However, it is their participation that we're hoping to attract. As far as increasing fundraisers and raising money, with the Houston local chapter on every Good Friday. And each year it grows. Each year, more and more people are learning about it. Not just those within the chapter or who are related to Prairie View, but even those in the general public at large. On a larger scale, throughout not only the city of Houston, but throughout our other local chapters nationally, will also spur on new ideas to increase our fundraising efforts, and certainly other nonprofit organizations. So again, that we can increase funding, which go back to the students who are attending Prairie View A&M University. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a hand applaud for Conrad Wood. Next we have, did Dale Robeson get on the call? If not, Yvonne, we'll let you answer, and then immediately following Yvonne, we'll have Erica. Since he didn't know what the original question is, we'll just have him to introduce himself after Erica. And then we will proceed with the next question. So you can speak, Yvonne, and then Roosevelt, you can introduce yourself after Erica.
Hello, once again, to answer the question on how do we recruit, one of the things I did this year was make a banner, because we were sponsored, I was doing, different functions at the office, and we hosted combined functions with the Florida A&M Chapel for Games. We purchased a banner, and then that banner has QR codes asking people to join that way. We got to clean up this database that I need help with to get that out there to people, so people know how organized we are. Merchandise. We got to get ourselves merchandise, and that's another way to get people. We need to start having more people wearing our alumni shirts. People don't really know we're alumni. So we wear our regular Prairie View shirts, but we need to start merchandising ourselves to wear our alumni merchandise. So that's why I'm gonna make an alumni store, so we can start purchasing, and I can start seeing more people with our alumni shirt on at different functions. So that is the goal, is to merchandise out next year and get that up and running with the support of this new board. Thank you.
Erica?
Good evening again. So one of the things for increasing alumni membership is also to build the trust back between the alumni and the NAA. We have a database, like Yvonne said, but at least 10,000 of those are not. So now you have to ask, why are those people not currently financially with the NAA that once was? So now you have to go out there and build that trust back to say, this is who we are. We're here to serve. And regarding building up, increasing our funds, collaboration with the local chapters, building corporate sponsors, and getting a buy-in from our alumni on what fundraisers they will support. It can't be just the officers or the board saying these are the fundraisers that we're. It's also about communication, collaboration, and building corporate sponsors.
Thank you for that, Vice President Erica Wright. Roosevelt, you can have this moment to introduce yourself and the position you're running for.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Sorry that I was late. I had a business meeting I was attending here locally in Houston. Again, my name is Roosevelt Huggins, class 92. I am a candidate or running for the presidency of this great organization, National Alumni Association of Prairie View University. Like I said, I've been involved with the national definitely for probably the last 15 years. Been a member of the Houston chapter. I was the president of the Kansas City chapter years ago, and then of late I've been involved with kind of a affiliate organization like the 1876 Athletic Foundation, really active there. So my major was mechanical engineering, graduated in 92, currently work for a major engineering firm that's based out of Kansas City. I reside in Cypress.
All righty, thank you for that, Roosevelt. And for those that have just joined in, we're doing our question and answer session. We're asking everyone to keep their comments and or questions 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. And the name of will be monitoring that. So he would like to know the deadline for the writing candidates. So with the writing candidates, as we know, the nomination committee put this information out, I believe, for almost 2 months. And so with that process, we had candidates to submit their 10th, we took nominations from the floor. So with the nominations from the floor, we closed out the slate of candidates. So candidates to have all of their information and paperwork and necessary fees turned in by May 31st. Again, for all write-in candidates, all of your fees, and that will allow us time to verify and confirm all of the information prior to the ballots going to Thaddeus Gamble, who will chair the election process. So you will be listed, but only listed as a write-in candidate. However, for whatever committee, email if you need to receive the packet, but all of this information is on the National Alumni website. And again, that deadline is May 31st at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. So the next question is from Leslie Griggs, I'm sorry. Will the NAA establish committees to appoint active alumni to support the goals of the executive board? I would turn that question over to Vice President Erica, since she currently serves on the board, and then we will also ask Yolanda Lewis to answer that question, as well as Roosevelt Huggins, since they currently serve on the National Alumni Board.
And that answer is yes. We actually have committees now, some functioning and some are not. So that is one of the things, that is one of my goals, is to rebuild that. So we will have those committees that can help build the NAA and different things that we're looking to do, and to get that support. We can't do it alone. So yes, committees are needed and will occur.
Roosevelt, you want to take that question as well, and then Yvonne, you can take that question.
There you go. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, yeah. So look, I'm in total alignment with Erica. We definitely will have committees. You know, we have standing committees like finance committee, fundraising committee. I think in our term of 2 years, we're so fortunate to be elected. You know, the goal will be to get alumni active at all levels of both the NAA and the university. There are several committees that the university has that I know in the past they asked alumni to participate in. We need to get people that can be active in those. And now with Zoom, before the limitation was, well, you have to find out on a prayer, you got to be in person. So, you know, obviously with Zoom and Teams, you know, now, you know, we should have alumni across the world, you know, support good ideas with the university, good ideas with the National Alumni Association, and really bring the full experience of our alumni base to the university, because we have to get active now. Like we talked about before, the world is changing. The world has changed for 8 years. The world is changing as associated with AI. So we have to be active to protect us and, you know, our university. So yes, the short answer, yes, there will be committees set up.
And Yvonne, we're going to let you respond to this one.
Okay, yes, we committees. I am currently ended up in the board. Always looking for people to join the finance committee, which we meet a lot. Scholarship committee. I'm asking for merchandise committee. So I've always asked people and people say they would love to be on the committee, membership committee, but then when it's time to meet, nobody's showing up. But we need to try to get the fire under people, and my goal is to come up with a new frame of how to recruit and get people to not only say yes, but get people to show up after they say yes. So yes, we need committees, and we need people to show up to the committees once they say yes.
Okay, so this question we'll go to, I believe David Allen said that he was the president of a chapter, and Pamela Holmes was also the vice president. Alicia currently serves on the Houston chapter board. Yvonne is on and Johnson Space Center board. I'll just jump to question number 3. What has been your history with dealing with conflicts? As a board member, national and or local, what has been your history with dealing with conflict? We will start with Yvonne.
Before I start, I just want to give a message out for Eureka. She lost her uncle today. That's why she's not on here. Eureka Fontenot, her and uncle was extremely close. They grew up together as brothers and sisters versus uncle. The only difference in age is very less than 5 years or stuff. So that's why she's not on the call. So everyone can pray for her for that. That was a shock in her whole entire family. So that's why she can't be here tonight. So I want to lift her up and her family in prayer tonight. But to answer your question, conflict, how I handle conflict, I always like to make sure everyone is heard, because the main time conflict is that people are not heard and people don't get their point across. So always let everyone speak. You let everyone speak, and you can find out the real issue and the real problem. And then once you do that, then you can sit down and be the mediator and say, okay, this is how we're going to handle it. This is how we should move forward. We always can't get everyone, make everyone whole and make everyone perfect, so we can do it as close as possible. And we always need, for me, I keep my head on, and my sister raising up the bar. Someone is already upset and outraged. Keep your voice low and understand where they're coming from, and try to let them know that we hear you and we're going to do our best to work with you and get things resolved. Because there's no sense of going back and forth. We are all wrong. And like I said, a lot of times people think about this.
Erica, I'll let you address that question.
One thing you always have to remember is, if you was in a situation, what would you do? How would you want people to talk to you? How would you want people to address you? And so that is how you want to be respected, is how you turn around and respect somebody else. Listen. So many times we respond without listening to the problem or listening to the question. Listening and communication, effective communication. Not communication that is going to bring hostility, but communication that's going to bring peace. You're not going to always agree. There's going to be always someone that is not going to do whatever you say or whatever you do. But you got to understand, it's not about them. It ain't about you. It is about the outcome of what the purpose is, and that's the NAA. So again, you have to resolve it, or you have to approach it in a way of, how do you want to be addressed? And how do you want someone to speak to you? And how do you want someone to handle the situation that you're in?
All right, Roosevelt.
Okay, look, now I think if you've been in board meetings or been in other meetings with me talking about NAA activities, I will always say, what is the best outcome, or what are we looking as the best solution for the NAA? Not what's best for me, not what is best for the other party, what is best for the NAA, what is best for Prairie View A&M University. You know, in my business life, there was a time where, as a company, we had difficulty with another company. In fact, it was so bad, it was contentious to every meeting. Until both we probably said, what is best for the project? And so I learned from that experience, like when you can focus on the greater good, then everybody can get all right. It may not be the best for you personally, but once you realize we're all working for the greater good, and for the greater good here which is Prairie View University, which can be and is in some ways the best university in the nation. I mean, think about what a jewel it is, right? And we shouldn't be arguing over little petty things. We need to be striving for big, moving things because at the end of the day, we're talking about future pastors, future students that get to experience what we experience, and we want to keep that going for generations. So the stronger a university will be, it will only go so far as how strong alumni base it has. So I deal with conflict by focusing on what is the greater, and then I'll be direct and really getting the parties of conflict together. Like we should not be talking in circles around each other. At some point, we need to say, okay, let's all sit in the room, let's talk it out. What's the issue? Let's solve it. And move on. That's my comment.
Okay, David Allen, we'll let you close out. That particular question, how do you deal with conflict?
I don't conflict during my days as mayor, but we also have rules, statutes, city ordinances, home rule charter, parliamentary procedure. You agree to disagree, you vote it up or down, and you go next. In the Los Angeles chapter, again, we just followed the rules. We did not always, we weren't just all in love with each other, but we were in love with Prairie View and what we were doing for the students. And we really, as you all asked this question, I can't recall real conflict in all my years in LA. And I became a member in '84, licensed in '86. I left 2000. And I was very active. So it's really just, follow the rules. We're all grown folks, and if we all love the school and the students, I live here in Prairie View. That's how much I love it. And I eat on campus 2 to 3 days a week. I'm speaking in classes. I don't do the rules say. If it's something that you want to do versus something I want to do, majority rule next. So, I've been blessed like that. I like to learn the rules and follow the rules. And it has alleviated a lot of that. Even when I was on the council, when council members didn't, like my idea, if they voted it down, guess what? It's voted down. We got to go next. And now if I got another way of doing it, that's something else. But no, we're not. We're all here volunteering, and we care. We're not here to create more animosity than we need.
All right, thank you. And I apologize, Pamela Holmes, I will let you respond as the Vice President of the Missouri City chapter.
Fortunately, we haven't had any conflict in Missouri City. But in handling conflict, keep a level head. You can't get, it may be some merit to what they're saying. You need to listen to the concerns and, and like Mr. Allen said, follow the rules. Because once we start following the rules, we shouldn't have conflict. Thank you.
To everyone. And so as we talk about the National Alumni Association, and we know in order for the National Alumni Association to be effectively financed, that it requires funds. So I will start with the candidate for president, Roosevelt, and move down the slate. How much have you personally, you don't have to give a direct dollar amount, or when was the last time, on the question it had, how much have you given personally? But when was the last time you have personally given to the NAA, and for what aspect?
Well, so full disclosure, I'm not a member. but there's a reason I'm not a life member. Because I've always felt that life membership, what I've seen over the years, people become a life member and normally they don't give anymore. So I made a conscious decision, like I'm gonna be an annual member, and every year I'm gonna give my annual dues because that is gonna be, even though it's small, that's gonna be more impactful because it's money they get every year. Now I get to the local chapters personally. I buy tickets to our homecoming gala. I bought merchandise. I give to the 1876 Athletic Foundation with my DNA. I participate in the Dallas Gala. So I mean, I'm the type of person like typically I'm given to multiple outlets that get money back to Caribbean University. Now, if you know the history of the NAA, I guess we as a vehicle, I think what you've heard from the slate of candidates here is we need to step up kind of two things. One, we need to step up avenue to give to the Alumni Association, which is more than just membership, going to this gala. That's the key thing. But also, when we give, we need to have the response mechanisms in place. Because like sometimes when you give now, and Yvonne's done a wonderful job to be responsible for years before you give. I know for a fact you give, and then people say, "Well, I gave last year, but I never received anything back, a letter or nothing." So we gotta have the response mechanisms to be in place.
2 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the 2 minutes. I'll wrap up.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
Roosevelt. Erica, we'll move on to
I
you.
could talk a lot. I'm sorry. I could talk a lot.
2 minutes. Erica,
I am tickled because maybe that came out of nowhere. But for me, I am a life member. I became a life member, I believe, in 2022 or 23. I have been given to money that have been asked for students in this past 24-25 fiscal year. And also back into our Dallas chapter, that money goes back to our university to help our students there. And the year before that, it was $750. So I have given not only to the NA.
Yvonne,
Eureka have started something from the JSC chapter in honor of Mark and Morris, former presidents of JSC, and then asking us all to donate $190 for the 1901 fund. And so I have donated to that in honor of 2 presidents from our chapter. This year, that's our fundraiser we have done this year. And besides that, I have supported, and people know my own dime have driven down to Prairie View and the university almost every 2 weeks, cleaning up that house, reorganizing that house. I take care of all the finances and all the secretary duties and everything right now. NAA is all on. We're gonna leave it Lewis. So that is my contribution to NAA.
David Allen,
Yvonne Lewis, next time you come down this way, if you'll let me know, and I'm in town, which is most of the time, I'll be glad to assist you with that. I used to stop up there all the time, visiting with the folks and supporting the things that they were doing. My giving, I was actively involved in writing checks and collecting checks in paying off the mortgage with Mr. Higgs. I've supported the athletic chapter's annual ticket sales thing that Mr. Higgs and Ms. Sadberry and them used to do on a regular basis. I used to go to the banquet quite a bit. I used to fly to Los Angeles, a lot of things with NA. I've got a scholarship endowment on campus, supporting the university for sure on a regular basis with students that I deal with down here who have issues, who need help. Some of them need funding. I've supported chapter events with, of course, my chapter in Houston, but also when I was with the San Antonio chapter, Prairie chapter, another chapter. As the life member, I know there was a time when they were asking us to make, as Roosevelt mentioned, I forgot what they call, well, the building fund or something like that. Wrote checks to that for some time before I moved over to Germany and lived in Europe for 3 years. But the giving, and I like what I think it was Yvonne that mentioned that 1901 or something. That's a specific thing. We need to come up with that from an NAA standpoint, so that folks that come to the NAA, similar to since Spaceship chapter, me and then Mars used to work on the NAA.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
All righty. Pam, and then after Pam, Alicia, take the same question. Then we'll move on to the next question.
Thank you. I have given to students that are in need. And I feel that if we initiate a yearly dues for members or for the life assets, that were additional funds, because right now, when you become a life member, that's it, you know, you pay your money and that's it. And I've been a life member over 20 years. But in other organizations that I'm in, I'm a life member. I still have to pay every year. I know life membership has its benefits, and we are all expected to give, and we just need to give wholeheartedly, you know, without remorse. Thank you.
And Alicia.
Yes. Well, I am a true believer in giving time, talent, and treasure. So I'll start with my treasure. I've given through my annual dues. I've given through the support of the galas, as well as other multiple fundraisers that have been sponsored by the NAA. I've also am a contributor through other organizations such as Epsilon Gamma Iota, where I've served previously on their board and continue to give towards the endowment fund that was set up through that organization. And all of these streams benefit the students at Prairie View A&M University. I'm also a giver and contributor through my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, graduate chapter there. Through my time, I volunteer my time currently through the Houston local alumni chapter. I've served as secretary for the past 4 years. Certainly, as I stated previously, serve as the chairperson of the annual fish fry that we host. And I'm supportive of other activities and fundraisers that we have that are direct beneficial to the students of Prairie View. And I would give more because I truly believe in Prairie View being the gym that Roosevelt is. I am active there and continue to pour into the students there, especially through the engineering, the College of Engineering, and through the Department of Chemical Engineering. So to have my continued support, and what really prompted me to run for the office of secretary with the NAA is that through, you know, I decided it was time to put not just my money there, but also my time to help make a difference so that others can continue to benefit from the work of the collective
2 minutes.
through the NAA.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. So this next question is for the current board members. So Roosevelt Huggins, Erica Wright, and Yvonne Lewis. And I just read the message that Freddie Roberts is not able to attend. So this is a 2-part question. So you still have just the 2 minutes. As a current board member, what have been your greatest accomplishment and your biggest regret? We will start with you, Roosevelt.
I guess start with my biggest regret. My biggest regret is that harmonious board. And I'll just leave it at that. That's my biggest regret. I think the greatest accomplishment as a board, and I'm big in the team. I really thought as a board, our accomplishment, it was a good convention. It as far as the slate, and we had lots of nights and discussions on it. But in terms of the slate of people, the experience, it was a grade A convention. I think that would be the greatest accomplishment as a board. I guess as myself, really in my role as financial secretary, you know, I think support role, so that's different because I've always taken like high leadership roles, but I really embellish the support role, which means giving my thoughts and really giving doing this last year kind of a quieting voice to whatever was going on and trying to seek again and influence what is the better good for the NNA and PD. So that was, I think, my greatest accomplishment.
Okay, Yvonne, we'll have you to answer the question next.
Is this an NAA thing or anything?
For the NAA.
My accomplishments is that I will make sure I'll be the president of the JFC chapter, so I'm excited about that. My disappointment is that I did not get to start the merchandise this year, this administration year. I have to put it out to next administration year because my plate was too full. But that was one of my disappointments, not completing that task this year. But this year I'm grateful that I will go from vice president to president, the GLC chapter, and I pretty much got the membership up and running and ready to send out for that membership new database that I found that will help us be more effective communication.
And Ms. Erica.
From a regret standpoint, I don't necessarily have a regret. I came into the position as an appointment probably it was May of 2024, so we had already been good and going for about 6 or 7 months or a little longer. And so I don't have a regret, but I will say I think there were some things that still could have been done. From an accomplishment, I feel like I was a listening ear. I feel like I was a peacemaker in a lot of ways. I definitely was a support in many ways to whomever called and whoever needed. And so I think that just being a voice of reason in the middle of, at times, chaos was definitely a compliment.
Okay, thank you for that. So this next question, I believe it was from B Apple. So he asks, any candidate, how would you like to increase the attendance for the NAA meetings as so for this one? So this also came up during the Q&A time. So I will ask each of the candidates, and I will start with David's meeting invite. Was it 1 to 5, 5 to 10, or 10 or more? How many people did you forward this information to?
I think I got a couple of thousand people on Facebook. I didn't just forward it. I texted to some people, but I'm proud of you know, what we have at Prairie View and, we'll kind of do things. But I love my university and, anyone that knows me, but yeah, it went to, I can't count how many people I said, on a personal level. I mean, I know I said 40 people on our local city of Prairie View text thing. Yeah, that's
Pamela Holmes.
I forwarded the information to 20+ people. The exact number I really can't tell you. I've also forwarded to Gen X, these younger folks who just aren't concerned, or they feel that we can't support them, or oh, the alumni association, that's nothing but old folks. So I have been talking with them, and I did forward this information to them.
All right, Alicia, Dr. Kizzy.
Yes, about 15 to 20. Sent it out to not only more recent graduates whom I know, as well as those who are not just in the state of Texas, but who are, in other areas across the world. So it's pretty global.
All righty, and Yvonne? And this is personally not through the NAA.
Since I was the one who put it out through NAA to 17,000 people, and I set it up to keep referring out, that's the only time I had to do was make sure NAA members got it. Sorry.
Okay, thank you for your honesty. Erica?
I sent it probably to about 50 to 60 people that I know here in the Dallas area, and a few of them that are beyond in the Fort Worth area as well, that I know are either members of the NAA, want to be a member of the NAA, or have a desire to even be in a local chapter. And then my chapter, Dallas Alumni, has definitely supported, because we send it out to our members and we feel like you're supporting.
And Roosevelt.
Yeah, I think, well, the previous meeting, I sent out to a dozen folks, and I reposted on my Facebook page. This meeting here, I don't think I reposted it, or I may have sent out just to a call for it.
Okay, again, thank you all for the honesty. So we will start with candidate for Vice President, Erica Wright. What are your non-negotiables for the position that you're running for?
Lack of respect is non-negotiable. If you make a commitment, uphold your commitment. What you do is your integrity, and you need to uphold that integrity. So what I will not accept is the lack of respect of a position, learn to agree to disagree with respect. So that is one of my non-negotiables.
Yvonne?
I piggyback on Erica. This is a free position. We're all here trying to work and to think, no, I'm out.
Dr. Kizzy?
Lack of respect, most certainly, and also lack of integrity. If a person lacks integrity, kind of hard for me to, I have to pray for that person. Lack of respect and lack of integrity. Thank you.
Thank you. Pamela?
I think we're all on the same page with lack of respect. Once you lose the respect of someone, that's it. So lack of respect, do your job and do it to the best of your ability.
Right, and then David Allen.
I have to agree with everyone else because there's no reason for that in this environment. If we care about Purdue and our university and the students, and we want to make it better, there's no reason why we can't get along. Again, we're not gonna, always totally agree, but how bad can the disagreement?
Okay, so actually, I will start this question off with the board members. And I will start with Yvonda, then Roosevelt, then Eric. What is the most urgent issue facing the NAA right now?
Finance.
Organization, us coming together. I did a 17,000 people in the database, roughly, I'm gonna take it down to 7,000, just be realistic. Less than 7,000 in the database. We don't have a lot of people involved and active in the NAA. And that is the main thing. We're losing what we currently have. We can't do anything else.
Roosevelt?
Yeah. So I heard urgent, that's one, but like I want to say there's two things that are equally as urgent. So one is Yvonne was told like response, how we respond, resources, just the organization of doing business. That's urgent. But the second thing is we need a new spirit, a new momentum. I think will be opposed here, but what you're seeing and what you're hearing is we all believe we need a new spirit, a new goal of activism, a goal of Prairie View is the best. Like really focus on a positive Prairie. There's so much negativity. Like you didn't ask me about the non-negotiable, but one of the pet peeves I hate is when our own Panthers, even if it's in the PV chat, like really chastise our university. Like there's better ways to handle it than going on Facebook and they all and our people just did something wrong. Like always, like let's see positive and let's tackle the issue, but let's get a momentum of positiveness. So those are the two things. I think I stayed on the two.
You did. She didn't call you out. And then Miss
Okay.
Erica.
One is hard, but I will say this, rebuild the relationship with the NAA and the university. Build the foundation of each elected position on the NAA. And again, build the trust back up between the alumni and the NAA. If we can get those things in order, the NAA is gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Right, and that is a great segue to the next question is how do you plan to strengthen collaboration between the NAA and the Purdue A&M University? So Ms. Erica, we have an extra 2 minutes to expound on that.
Regular meetings with the Office of Development, the Office of Alumni Affairs, hearing from our university president, Kurt Gold of the NAA, and allowing us, we're not here we're here to be a force to be reckoned with for the university and for the alumni and for these students. We can't build nobody up if we're not building up ourselves first.
David Allen, I'll let you expound on that as well.
I hear, even right here in the city, that there's a disconnect between the university and the city, or mostly alumni. I hear it, but I don't feel it. I don't live it. because I'm on the campus, talking to students, how are you doing, encouraging them, where you from, what are you studying, culture, or in the College of Engineering. I'm on the campus so much. I mean, me and the president, we talk to each other coming and going, or chief of staff. If a student or a parent has an issue, I'm in touch with them. I put them in touch with, Mr. Hoffman. Here's his email, and I've got that permission. A couple of weeks ago, was out and was doing something kind of late at night, really with his campaign sign, and I looked up and something was coming out of the dark down Business 290, which, coming from the alumni house, is pretty dark. And turned out it was a young lady from Temple, Texas. The bus stopped at the Dollar General store at 8:30, and she had to walk, and she worked in the Sabesco at MS that same day. I don't have the disconnect. And Trumari, whenever you or President Mark needed something that, yeah, sure, I can go up there because I'm here. So it does make a difference. But again, it's a blessing, extremely involved with national. And, again, I'm glad to have the opportunity to get involved. And the history just happened to be interesting. I've lived so much of it, but
2 minutes.
All
Yes.
right.
Would you repeat the question?
Yeah, how do you plan to strengthen the collaboration between the Prairie View National Alumni Association and the university?
Well, I feel one way to start is for the Alumni Association, for the officers to meet with the president, find out where the disconnect is. Now, she may not know, and the future president not know, but we need to come together to see where is it that we can assist the university, and the university can also.
Thank you, Dr. Alicia Kinsey.
Certainly, number one, communication, being able to open up the lines of communication between. Secondly, getting on the president's calendar to meet with her and understand what her goals, and she cascaded a vision out to the entire university community. And I think it's incumbent upon us as the Alumni Association in support of that vision to understand how and where we can help support, bring the vision to fruition, and to support her in doing so. Thirdly, having a greater visibility on campus by being more supportive of student activities and allowing the students to know that we are the alumni and we're there in support of them, so that they have a direct line to us and understand that we're there for them. So I believe those activities, at least it'll be a start of building the foundation and making improvements in relationship with universe. Thank you.
Yvonne?
She had to get off to another meeting. She just.
Okay, and Roosevelt.
Yeah, look, and Alicia, you took some of the things I was gonna say, but I'm gonna tell you this. I guarantee, I'm not trying to be egotistical. I guarantee you, with the university, like, that's where I'm good at. I feel like I'm strong at relationships. I build relationships. I build consistency. And exactly what Alicia said is that, look, the president's outlined a plan, Journey to Image. In that plan, if you take a look at, there's like 5 areas for alumni. It discusses what the university wants to do. But we should reciprocate, right? We should define things that we're going to do on the same platform on her Journey to Image and match up with that. And then, but the part is not just define that. Now we got to be accountable when it comes through. So we come through, that's going to show her that we are all in the same boat, rowing in the same direction. That's what we need. So, like, I am a big believer, if we get a tight relationship with the university, that doesn't mean we can't say to the university, hey, we don't think you're doing this right, but here's how we help you do it in the right way as the way the alumni want to see you do it. But if we get together, we'll be unstoppable. We have the best campus, we have great professors, we're getting great students, and now you put a great alumni behind that. I mean, I wish I was a student. I wish I could come back to Prairie. Because I mean, and I have two daughters in house, so I should have said that in the money situation, where do I get my money to Prairie? They're thinking like that. So, but I mean, I'm almost lost for words. Like how great a vision we could be. The NAA University, this great talent, this great.
2 minutes.
Yes, I'm gonna wrap up. Yes.
Thank you,
Oh,
Roosevelt.
thank you.
So the next, there's a question here. Would like to get the candidates' insight on having more regional chapters association like Atlanta, Metro. Okay, Roosevelt, I'll let you take that.
Well, I mean, look, everybody doesn't live in Houston. Everybody doesn't live in Texas, right? So we have to create some programs that help build alumni for responsibility. The mission is to have to generate experience living away from Texas for 13 years. So I have a experience. Most alumni, when they live away, they want a couple things. They want to know more information about the university, what's going on, because they don't get that in their normal way. So us providing more information and avenues to get information to alumni in a way that is a way is good. The second thing, they want to give money to local students that are going to Prairie View. What can the nationals do? Why not us subsidize them? Their chapter give $1,000 scholarship. Maybe the nationals could boost that with another 1,000. So now you have $2,000 worth of scholarship coming from Atlanta to the university. We have to do ways to get people employed in the regional office, or regional chapter. I think those are some a quick way to do it, and I only have 2 minutes, so I can't go longer. Thank you.
Okay. So the next question will also go to you, candidate Huggins, and this is from Tony Young. So for the president, what are the benefits and current sponsorships for joining the NAA?
Well, that's what we're talking about. We need to create more. I mean, the main benefit, I think, that every life member that seems to really call the office for is to say, hey, I need my life member because I get a discount on my season ticket for athletics. So that's what you typically see people are associated as a member. I think there's a status for being a life membership, but there's no, besides that, I don't recall there's any other tangible benefits unless I'm missing. And we're going to have a credit card that under President Falls, and he's developing this credit card program. You used to get in the past, if you had a membership, you get a discount in the bookstore. But I think that's one of the things that I think Honda and others have talked about. We need to create more tangible benefits that when you become a part of us, it's recognized and there's a tangible benefit for you as a alumni member.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna let you keep talking, Roosevelt. There's another question.
Well, I said it earlier. One of those is to be close to university. The world or the nation is attacking anything Black, African American, right? We need to be friends with our state legislature. We need to be a partner of the university within the state. So in order to do that, you have to be closer and get aligned views and aligned activities with the university. So that's one of the goals. The second goal is, like Yvonne says, we need to create more avenues of funding. All right, so we need to raise more money. typically the NAA raise money by dropping the light membership. You know, our goal is not to do that. We want to find true avenues of funds. And the second thing is, whatever funds we get, we need it going back to the university, right? We shouldn't be like at 5% of the funds we bring in, that's all that gets to the university. We should be like at 50% or higher. So that's the goal, right? To get the alumni funds and get back to the university. And then the fourth one, the goal is to increase the experience of alumni. And I think I'm probably at a minute and 45 seconds, so I probably can't go into 5 different topics on how to do that. But there's different ways to increase the experience of being an alumni member within the NAA and get that. That's my answer.
All right, thank you, Roosevelt. So this next question, we will ask each of the candidates to speak on it. I know David Allen had to jump off, so we will start with Pamela Holmes, then Alicia, then I think Yvonne is off, and then Erica, then Roosevelt. So there's been a lot of conversation with regards to the National Alumni Association Office House, whatever you want to call it. What is your stance on selling and or preserving that house? We will start with you, Pamela Holmes.
Thank you. I know the house has been there for years. I do not know the condition of the house. That's something that the new board would need to come together and do research, see how much can we get for the house if you want to sell it. Will anyone be there in the future to answer phones or what have you? How are we, you know, if we're gonna keep it, we need to find a use for it.
Great question. First, I would like to say, I would prefer if we kept the house because it can become a source of income. Now, my background is in facilities management. What that means is I take broken things and recreate them or maintain, you know, infrastructure of buildings. Okay, so I have a construction background. I think with other organizations or other businesses who can volunteer their time, their efforts in helping us to store the building so that it can become a source of income. And by that, I mean, we can begin to lease out that space to other organizations, to other entities when they need to have meeting spaces during, you know, homecoming events. You have thousands of people there who are looking for places to host events. So let's become more business minded and more financially in tune to what the market can bear so that we can repurpose the alumni house to being something more than just a treasure for the alumni and being, you know, kind of sitting idle and vacant 80 to 90. Those are my ideas regarding maintaining the current house. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Erica, I'll let you take that.
I do believe that we need to keep the house. The house has to bring in means of resources. Could be an avenue if we have students that may need to rent it out. We have organizations that may need to rent it out, or we just have students that just need to come and have a study group. The house can be utilized for many of different ways. Some will be profitable, some may not be. Some may just be that we are letting someone use it out of the kindness of our heart. But do I think that we need to get rid of it? No, I think that we need to keep the house as long as it's economical, feasible, economical for us to keep it. I think we need to keep it utilize it for, resources, from a bit, financial standpoint, and just for a resource of giving back to someone that just may need it, that cannot afford it.
And Roosevelt.
Yeah, so this is, honestly, this has always been one of the hottest topics. Yeah, I'm being fully transparent. I'm conflicted because I was 2015 or 13 to 15, but I saw on a monthly basis how much money we were having to put into the loan house. Because of his age, the HVAC, the roof, the pavement, window sills. I mean, it was a huge strain. Also, see, it's a symbol of independence. The university itself is part of the Texas University system. The AA has been this long beacon of independence, and that house is a symbol of that. So I get that too. I think like what you heard from others, we need to continually evaluate if it is the right thing to do and the right thing to own. I mean, for alumni, the greatest benefit would be if we had a presence on left and come for you. They don't turn left on 1098, they turn right on University Drive. So they're not going to see the alumni house, but emotions built up in the house. I just think we need to study it, and then when the right time to make a decision, make that decision.
Okay, and then Tony just added a comment, partner with the School of Architecture, I'm sorry, to repurchase the house. The next question, I know Yvonne is off, how would you enforce? Was it Alicia first?
Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question? Can you repeat
How
it?
you doing?
The next question, I know Yvonne is off. Yes,
I think
how would you enforce budget policies and procedures?
I do that every year. Reinforce what our budget policies are. I believe in having written policies and sharing them, having a sense of transparency, so that accountability. So, not only should the treasurer have access or have information regarding what our budget is, so that everyone is aware of what we're bringing in, how we're spending it, how it's being allocated, and what does that process look like. And additionally, I also believe in when you have a budget, there's a budget cycle. And we're executive board members or membership at large, if there are initiatives and programs that you're looking for the association to fund, and that's the time for that particular fiscal year, it should be reviewed upon, assessed, and then voted upon. And those are the things that we're moving forward with during that fiscal year. So I just believe in having certain routines and having discipline around spending and maintaining budgets, and having financial accountability in regards to those things. Thank you.
Roosevelt, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of this leadership, like, I think people that have worked with me know that when it comes to money, I'm pretty accountable and handling money. I was the treasurer for 4 years of the NAA. I think people, if you work with me during that time, you want to go back to the board members that worked with me on that time. They knew that the money where you have to treat it with respect and following the rules. I think I've shown that, demonstrated that. Even as my role as financial secretary, the opinions I give. Look, I don't like to be here. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So we're gonna raise money, and we're gonna find ways to responsibly use that money. and we're gonna stay within the budget guideline. Now, we raise a lot more money, and then we say, oh, we got more money, and we're gonna go to the board and say, okay, we have this pot of money, how do we make it more useful for the university, more useful for alumni? Not to go have a super duper convention, but how do we give more scholarships to students? How do we uplift our chapters with the additional windfall money that we have so that they can bring more Panthers into the fold that are way out in the wilderness of Montana or Nebraska or wherever, and bring them into the fold and be active members. So that's what I want to do.
Okay, Pam.
Okay, as far as enforcing the budget, I'm sure we have policies that are written that we need to adhere to. Also, when we create an annual budget, we need to distribute that to the chapters, to the NAA chapters, so they can see what it is we're doing, where their money is. We'll go with what we have.
Okay, Miss Erica, I'll let you end this question.
Y'all see me rocking because this is my field as an instructor, but gotta stand, as they say, 10 toes down, flat footed on what you have. There are policies and procedures in place. There is a budget for the fiscal year in place. You have to adhere to that budget. If you spend beyond that budget, it is now a donation, and we say thank you, right? So again, the policies are in place, but you got to enforce them, and you have to stand on that enforcement. Because when you have people that feel that they can spend because they are in charge or they have the authority, you don't have the authority to spend beyond your budget without getting approved. So you have to stand on the policies and procedures. You have to not spend beyond your budget. And if you do, we just say thank you for your donation.
Thank you for that. And this question, I'm just gonna open it up to anyone who wants to address this question. Will any activity be planned to showcase the NAA building during homecoming to encourage membership?
I think we'll look at it. It just, again, at least for me, my view is most people turn right on 1098 versus on University Drive. So during homecoming, it's hard to get people to go that distance and be there. I think, in my view, the presence should be on the campus, when we're trying to do our activities for our homecoming. That's just my view. But I think that's one of the things that as a board, as this new group, that we'll talk about and come up with the best plan. The best plan may be to get out there. That's just my view.
Okay, so the next question is, and looks like Erica and Roosevelt will be the two to answer this question. Can you explain what the voting process for the national or for the home? How does the voting process take place?
So
those were just some examples. So when you're voting, when the NAA votes, what is the process for them to vote?
Yeah, so our meetings are, and Erica, feel free to chime in as I'm talking, because I know it's tough. I may say something wrong, but I value Erica and others' input. But obviously, as a board, we follow Robert's Rule of Order. That's the first part, right? And then we have constitution bylaws that regulate how we need to vote, how we have a quorum. We have a quorum, then we could vote on matters of new business and old business areas. And then right now, we have to have a quorum for major, what I call major financial issues, especially if have not been approved by the budget already, then we have to take it to the board. The board consists of all our chapters, and then elected officials that are financial. And then if we have a quorum, then we do a yes or no vote under the auspices of Robert's Rule of Order, and then based on that vote, we're able to do what the vote says. That's the way I see it. Erica?
And that is correct, Roosevelt. One, I think what people have to understand, it is not the entire alumni that is voting. We're looking at voting, it is the board of directors. It is, and the board of directors is the president or their representative of each financial chapter, plus your elected office. The only one that normally does not have an opportunity to vote is the president. So that's who normally does all the voting. So when it's presented normally at a board meeting, and then those are who votes for the yay and nay, the yes and no's. Fortunately, it's not the entire voting that things that are voted upon at the meeting. It is the elected president from each chapter and your elected office. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, thank you. Directors involved, old members with old ideas. How do you get?
Well, I mean, I'm jumping in here, but like old ideas, new ideas, old members, new members, ideas are good. We need ideas. Right? I don't, you know, some say, my view is this: if you have an idea, and I don't need to judge that idea. What I need to do is help shape that idea to something that is useful for the Alumni Association or the university. I should be a conduit for your idea coming to fruition and how that comes about, right? And usually, if you do that as a leader, you're gonna find that people are gonna be more responsive and they're gonna be accountable and they're gonna follow through on their idea. Like there's a lot of ideas that I don't agree with, but in this role as president, I'm going to say, okay, let me think about your idea, how we implement it. Let's see if we can do that. And I think if you take that posture, I think that's how you deal with what we call old members with.
Did you want to chime into that question, Erica, as well as Alicia and Pamela?
Yeah, I would chime in. So what our chapters have to understand is there's always a need sometimes for a change, right? So I wouldn't call an idea old, but I will say that there's times that there has to be some fresh ideas. And so chapters would need to be trained on how some of those ideas come about. How do you function as a chapter? You need to make sure that the chapters are have some policies and procedures in place as well. As well as them building on what the chapter, and a lot of chapters are not growing because the leadership has not changed. And that's where your ideas become stale because it's the same ideas you've been doing for the last 7, 8, 10, 15 years. So it's a growing process that needs to happen across the board with the chapters, and it starts with the NAA making sure they are equipped with what they need.
Alicia?
Yes, I would add, if a local chapter is feeling as though they're being held back or being stagnant because of their leadership, then I would invite them to not only increase their membership, but because the part of that partnership is through the NAA, increasing our visibility overall, so that local chapters can increase their membership. And through the increase and the growth of their local chapter, they're able to vote in new membership. So now we're talking about member, as though your local chapter is not growing and the ideas are not fresh, whatever that means to that particular local chapter, then to me that says either you're seeking a change in leadership for your local chapter, and the way you gain that change of leadership is that someone new or someone different will have to step forward and put themselves in a position to be voted into a position that now the new ideas and other ideas can be funneled through that leadership position that will make its way to the NAA. So I encourage local chapters to do that, to increase their memberships so that engagement can be increased as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Pamela, I'll let you address it as well.
Okay, change is hard. A lot of people do not adapt to change. It's just difficult. That's just a way of life. But I think if we have ideas that some people say are old or outdated, maybe we need to tweak them to bring them up to date. All ideas, even though they may be, just have to find what works for your chapter and then go from there.
Thank you. And then there's there's a question here with regards to the alumni database and voting. So I will address those questions. So, let's see, we'll take it candidate for president Roosevelt Huggins. What will you take from the current president, Mark Pauls, and what will you take from President Mark Pauls?
President Mark Paul he's a great Panther, and you know, I was listening to the graduation ceremony this weekend, and I listened to hear him speak, and man, I just became inspirational. How he delivered, you know, the inspiration to the students of what they can be, where they can go. That's what I would take from Mark Paul. I mean, you know, I don't know the basis of this question, but you know, Mark Pauls is a great parent. He loves Prairie View University, and he worked every day to do what he thought was right for the National Alumni Association and support of Prairie View University. He spent a lot of money of his own. He spent a lot of his time. He's you know, he made some difficult decisions that weren't politically supported, and so you know, he again, say he's a great family, and he did a lot of great things. So I would take his speaking skills, the way he delivered, the way he chose the classroom for the university. What I would take away, I don't think it's right to. I don't want to be like Trump did Obama or Trump did Biden. I don't believe in that. So I'm just gonna let that go in terms of what I would take away. Just you know, if that's something that you have to vote no against because of that answer, I'll just let you vote no. I'm not going to speak ill of the past president because he's a Panther. I know I'm going past 2 minutes. I should say, when you're a Panther, when you're a Prairie View person, I got need about 30 more seconds. When you're a Prairie View person, you have a certain level of respect from me as being a Prairie View that's, I'm gonna let you know.
Okay. And so the very last question, and we will take it for the last four candidates that's on the call. What is your vision with partnering with the city? Then Alicia, then Erica, then Roosevelt, then I will give my closing remarks.
Wow, you did have to start with, with partnering with the city of Prairie View. We would need to first know who and have a meeting with them. Let them know what our plan is as an alumni association and how we plan to assist the city. And what can the city give to us? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Alicia.
Yes. Certainly begin, have to develop the partnership. I think we leverage the alumni who already have existing ties with the city of Prairie View. And I know, David Allen being past mayor of the city of Prairie View has some relationships already there. And as an alumnus of our NAA and of Prairie View University, leveraging his ties that he has there, as well as others within our alumni base, to have us to establish a more, lasting and sustainable relationship with the city, so that as we're planning and we're growing our visibility there, not only on the campus but also in the city, and understanding how we can be supportive of the city, so that in turn, when we need their assistance and we need their support for something, they'll be willing to offer it up and stand in support of us as well. So as Pamela stated, it is a two-way street. But I believe the beginning blocks of that is to start with the leverage that we are already having that exists there currently, and that's through the alumni who have either worked there and have existing ties with the city, and begin to build from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Erica?
I will piggyback on both what they both said. It's about building the relationship, possibly attending the city council meetings, having meetings with them directly to find out what can we do to help the city of Prairie View and what we need the city of Prairie View to help us with, especially when it's times, during the football games and homecoming, and how can you help us? So it's about building the relationship, establishing those meetings and attending what we can to support them. Mr. Allen as being a former mayor, so establishing.
Thank you. And Roosevelt.
I said that we're going to perform partnerships that be Waller County, Prairie View, City of Prairie View, State of Texas. Those are all channel partners for Prairie View and University. What we have to do is to use our influence, and so the City of Prairie View, use the City of Prairie View alumni that are there to say, hey, City of Prairie View, what more can you do for the university? What more can you do for our alumni situation? And because, again, it's interesting how if you drive down to 90, stuff in Hempstead, a lot of stuff. And for Prairie View, no stuff, a little bit coming out. And Prairie View, lots of stuff. Like, what is the county, what's the city, why are they not helping build stuff that supports the university? So that's, we need to be a conduit for that. We need to help build relationships. Yeah, we'll have a relationship.
All right, thank you. Thank you all for all of your responses, for your patience, and just being very transparent, but most importantly, so putting your name in as a slate for the candidates for the Prairie View National Association. Let's just give yourself a round of applause. I want to add a note, Mildred Robinson, she put, and this is going back to the restoration and keeping or selling the home. Perhaps place a historic marker on the house, have a room for get alumni to donate toward repurposing the home. So thank you for that, Mildred Robinson. So the final comments that I have is there were a couple of questions with regards to voting, when the voting will take place, how will that take place? So Thaddeus Gamble, many of you know Thaddeus, I believe he's class of 1986. He is the election chair. He will be spearheading the election process. All the slate of the candidates, last date to do that is on May 31st. I will turn that over to Thaddeus and his team. So within probably the next week, if not sooner, each of you will receive an email. That email will ask you to confirm your information. One of the questions was, how accurate is the alumni database? Will I receive the information? And we all know the answer to that is no. So with that being said, if you're not receiving any information from the National Alumni Association, I know just on today, I sent out several emails because people didn't know about this event who are national members. If you are not receiving any correspondence from the National Alumni Association, go to the PVU alumni.org website and submit an email with your information. If you have not received, probably within the next 2 weeks, an email for you to confirm your name, your class year, and how you would like to receive your ballot. Alumni.org. You can also send it to the Zoom link that you see, the nominations, and I will just forward to cast their vote for the candidates that's currently running for office. But on top of that, we also want to make sure that you're in the know. You have the information and you're not having to go to someone else to retrieve the information. If you are a national annual member and or you are a national lifetime member, you should be receiving information. If you wish to go through your local chapter presidents that's on this call, please make sure to pass this information on to your members. Please make sure to pass this information on to your members that we need to have their information. Majority of the ballots will be asked to have ballots will be done electronically unless you specifically request to have that done via mail. Roosevelt was part of you and recap, and there were hundreds of letters that was returned for whatever reason. So we don't want to, again, waste useful dollars and time, but also we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to cast their vote. So be sure to look for that email. A couple of us went in and tested it. It's very simple. I think it's like maybe 6 or 7 questions: your first name, your last name, your class year, if you're a life member, if you're an annual member, how do you wish to have your ballot sent, your email address, and a contact phone number. Really short and simple. So, where will the voting be counted? It will be counted at the National Alumni Association. Again, I believe Thaddeus will be on the next meeting, which is more or less of a repeated meeting. Here, if more questions come in, we'll address those questions. We want to give everybody an opportunity because we know everyone is so busy, and if those individuals that are for those candidates on the call, you do have the option. you're more than welcome to attend the next meeting. Maybe other individuals that was not on this call that may be on the next call. The questions will not be repeated. So there will be a different slate of questions that will come through. So Devonda, as she said earlier, she will send out the request again for people to send in their questions to be addressed. So who will count the votes? That will be the election committee. Again, that is Gamble and his team will be counting the votes, and who will be responsible for the results. Again, that will be Thaddeus Gamble and the election committee.
Tramar, about the results, if he's done an election runner, when the timer goes off for any additional ballots or to be stopped, the system automatically counts every vote and sends that information to the election chair.
Election committee, correct. And that will be Thaddeus Gamble. And I know that for the mail-in ballots, they will have, so that date is, I do not know. And then there were other direct questions that people had sent to me directly. I do have those questions, and we will make sure that you're updated into the system and that you are, will receive the updated correspondence. So if there is no other one left on the call, 1 minute to give your closing remarks. And at this time, I would like to say good night and goodbye. So Roosevelt, we'll start with you, Erica, then we will have Alicia and Pamela Holmes to close us out.
Yeah, I'll just say 1 minute. Look, I'm really excited. I got off video, so I'm not gonna waste time trying to get back to the video. But hopefully y'all can tell how excited I am to have the potential to be the president. It's something that I want to put my time and efforts into. I'm committed. I'm so fortunate to be a leader to build a relationship with the university, build a relationship with alumni chapters, and to increase the amount of giving that either we get back to chapters to do good things with, or we give to you. That's my, and I thought the forum was excellent, so thank you. Wow.
Thank you, Roosevelt. Go ahead, Erica.
So I would say thank you. Thank you for tonight. I think it was a definitely great forum. It was some wonderful questions. If I'm given the opportunity to be elected as VP, what I will say is I will stand again, like I said, 10 toes down, flat-footed, all ties on flat with no staff for the NAA and what we can do to build this NAA and build the relationship with our university back as it should be and keep it growing. There's a need to help, and if you're here for the NAA, if you're here for the university, if you're here for these students, then definitely be here and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kizzy.
For taking your time to tune in to hear what each of us, the candidates, have to share, and is sharing our vision of how to make the NAA a great alumni organization. Certainly, we are all representatives of Prairie View by being alumni. So let's work together. Let's NAA a great alumni association. As we all have heard, teamwork makes the dream work. So let's become a rallying force of willing workers to make this nation great, because we do represent a great university. Thank you again and have a great evening.
And Ms. Pam.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If elected, I will definitely take direction from the president. But I will also follow the bylaws, the current bylaws of the Alumni Association, and also Robert's Rules of Order. I would enjoy having the opportunity to work for you and with you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Want to thank Naima for being our timekeeper. Within the next couple of days, Raymond will have this posted on YouTube where you can go back, listen, share with your family, friends, other people. And so at this time, have a great night. Have a wonderful and safe Memorial holiday. And until next time. Bye-bye.